The Battle of the Wags continued on Thursday as Rebekah Vardy and Coleen Rooney arrived for Day 3 of the Agatha Christie trial, held at the High Court in London. Follow all the latest from our Vardy vs Rooney libel trial on our live blog. Coleen's lawyer David Sherborne QC didn't hold back as he resumed cross-examination, telling Vardy, 40, she had been saved by the bell after proceedings on Wednesday ended early due to a fire alarm going off. The arch-rivals both attended court in thousands of pounds worth of designer gear, with Coleen, 36, joined by husband Wayne, also 36, while Vardy was flanked by burly security guards. The 3-year defamation case centers around Rooney accusing Vardy of leaking false stories about her private life in October 2019 after she said she carried out a months-long sting operation which saw her dubbed Agatha Christie. Vardy denies the allegations and has sued the fellow footballer's wife for damages for libel over the untrue and unjustified defamatory attack. Here's the biggest bombshell moments from Day 3 so far. WAGs annoyed by staged pap shots at 2018 World Cup. Mr. Sherborne asked Rebekah if they can resume from the point she was saved by the bell, when yesterday's trial was halted early after a fire alarm went off. Sherborne suggested Vardy gave a photographer the name of the WAG's hotel and the restaurant in St. Petersburg at the World Cup 2018. Vardy denied it and said photographers were outside the hotel. Mr. Sherborne said it was a staged pap shot and she was worried if someone else got the picture too it would lose its financial value. Vardy said, "No." Vardy messaged, "What, fuck? I've made everyone go outside for a pic and the pap was there. It looks like I tipped him off now. The girls have asked me to put it on Insta, so quick, get them out. They want me to put it up before the pap puts his in." Sherborne claimed the WAGs did not like the fact Vardy had set up the photo and they wanted the pictures putting out on social media to remove their sale value. He said an FA representative said in a witness statement some of the WAGs had expressed to her their annoyance and disbelief at being set up to be in the photo by Vardy. Harry Maguire's fiancée Fern Hawkins embarrassed by staged shot. Mr. Sherborne said the FA rep claimed Harry Maguire's fiancée Fern Hawkins had expressed her upset and was embarrassed, was not prepared and had not expected to be put in that position. Vardy replied, "No. Fern posted many of her own images of that night, where we were, what we were doing and what we had eaten." Coleen says grass strikes again after discovering Instagram leaks. Sherborne accused Vardy of leaking another story based on a photo she posted on her private Instagram account. Vardy said, "No, that's not true." Mr. Sherborne said after a series of leaks from her private account, Rooney put up a message saying, "The grass strikes again. It's just the fact that someone is telling them. It's just the fourth thing in recent weeks that I have noticed." Vardy asks who is Davy Jones? Sherborne said it was unfortunate they did not have the WhatsApp messages a journalist swapped with Becky's agent Caroline Watt as they were lying at the bottom of the North Sea in Davy Jones' locker. The court has heard Watt's mobile phone fell overboard from a boat into the water shortly after a judge had ordered it to be examined for the trial. Vardy replied, "Who is Davy Jones?" The judge, Mrs. Justice Stein, Court, told her, "It just means at the bottom of the sea." Vardy replied, "Oh, okay." Davy Jones' locker is a metaphor for the bottom of the sea, the state of death among drowned sailors and shipwrecks. Coleen's messages to Becky revealed an insight into Rebekah and Coleen's friendship was revealed on Thursday as the WAG's messages were read out in court. Sherborne said after a story appeared saying Vardy had notched up more holidays than Coleen that year she messaged her rival. He said Mrs. Vardy had joked when should we book another holiday? And wished the mother of four luck for her move to Washington, D.C., adding she must be excited. In the exchange, Coleen told Vardy, "They chat so much rubbish. You can take over." The barrister said, "You are fishing for a little bit of information from her, true or not true?" She replied, "Of course not, I thought that article was absolutely ridiculous, so I thought I would message her to have a laugh about it, it was crazy." The WAG said she had not asked about Mrs. Rooney's move to Washington and had simply wished her luck. Vardy quizzed after Coleen's Honda crash is leaked in papers. Mr. Sherborne asked Vardy about a picture Rooney posted on her private Instagram account showing she had crashed her Honda 4x4 in Washington, D.C. The photo showed damage to one side of the car. Rooney captioned it, "RIP half a Honda." Shortly afterwards a story appeared in the same newspaper about the crash. 2 days before the article was published, Vardy swapped messages about it with agent Caroline Watt. Watt messaged, "Am I imagining this, or did you say yesterday that Coleen had crashed her Honda?" Vardy replied, "She defo has." Vardy told Watt to check Rooney's private Instagram account. Watt then messaged her saying she would have tried to do a story on Coleen but the post had been deleted. Vardy said the newspaper already had the information about Coleen's car crash. Mr. Sherborne said the information that Rooney had crashed her car, which Vardy had confirmed, turned out to be wrong. He said, "The fact is that you confirmed through Caroline Watt that Mrs. Rooney had crashed her car. But she hadn't, had she?" Sherborne said Rooney responded by posting a message online saying someone was selling stories from her account. On her public Twitter account she said she had not had a crash, someone had hit her car and the story was wrong. Messages were also read to the court where Watt and Vardy discussed the Sun's Andy Halls running a story about the car crash. Watt told Vardy, "Halls is trying to do a story on Coleen's crash of her car but her PR won't even reply," and Vardy replies, "Haha, yeah, she defo did." Mr. Sherborne said, "What Ms. Watt is doing is passing on the information to him, which he knows is coming from you." Vardy said, "Mr. Halls, as far as I know, already had the information, he already had the picture. I confirmed she had definitely crashed it." Rebekah denies lying as court hears her statements were revised. Rebekah's witness statements were repeatedly revised ahead of the libel trial, the High Court heard. Mr. Sherborne told the court elements of her witness statement which related to the alleged staged photo with other wives and girlfriends in Russia in June 2018 had varied throughout the disclosure process. After reading her original witness statement, Sherborne read the amended statement from July 2021. He said, "You say this, the claimant did not orchestrate the picture that was published in The Sun. What's gone from that is that you no longer say you had nothing to do with the photograph that was published." The WAG told Mr. Sherborne he was confusing her when asked if both statements were true, before later going on to say, "Sometimes you make mistakes." Mr. Sherborne said, "The reason you have not got your story straight is because you were lying." She denied his allegations. Vardy says she was not thinking straight when she compared Rooney to a pigeon. Excerpts from Vardy's interview for the Daily Mail with Alison Boshoff, the day after Rooney's "It's Rebekah Vardy" tweet were read to the court. Vardy said in the interview, "Arguing with Coleen Rooney would be like arguing with a pigeon. You can tell it that you are right and it is wrong, but it's still going to S in your hair." She also said in the interview that a dozen people had access to her Instagram account, but, in the trial, she has now admitted only 4, herself, Watt, husband Jamie and his social media manager Davy Jones, had her login. Giving evidence this afternoon, she said, "I thought beforehand that other people had access. Rightly or wrongly, maybe that interview shouldn't have been done. I don't know. At the time I was speaking to Miss Boshoff, I didn't know what to think, I didn't know what to believe, and that's what I thought had happened. I wasn't thinking straight the day after this had happened." Vardy was suspected of being the Sun's secret WAG columnist. The court heard a column was launched in The Sun called Secret WAG in September 2019 that promised to reveal scandalous gossip from the Premier League. David Sherborne, for Rooney, told the court it had ended 10 or 11 days after Rooney's now infamous tweet about Vardy. A message from Kim Hart, wife of England goalie Joe Hart, to Vardy was revealed in which Kim said, "To be honest, your name is going around so people think it's your column, but I think it's The Sun just using the secret WAG to write SHT." Vardy told her agent Caroline Watt, "I reckon Coleen is telling people it's me, you know." Rooney's lawyer claimed a message from Vardy to Watt about The Sun not using her pictures because the other thing is running is a reference to the column. Vardy denied she was the secret WAG and said she was referring to an upcoming feature with the Mirror, adding the column was absolute nonsense and garbage. Rooney's lawyers claimed Vardy deliberately deleted evidence, which she denies. Rooney's lawyers have suggested Vardy deliberately deleted evidence including messages on her phone because they are unhelpful to her case. Vardy said the messages were deleted accidentally when she exported her messages to send to her solicitors as part of the disclosure process for the trial. Mr. Sherborne said, "Your expert has described that as somewhat surprising." Mrs. Rooney's expert says there is no possible explanation for how that happened in any other way than somebody manually deleting a human deleting those messages on the phone. "It's a suggestion you personally have deleted the messages on your phone," Vardy said. "With respect, I have been accused of a lot of things." Vardy claims her agent has had suicidal thoughts. At the end of her cross-examination today, Vardy was asked about her claim she had been betrayed by her agent Caroline Watt. Vardy told the court, "I think she has been driven to suicidal thoughts by the proceedings and the antics of this defendant." Mr. Sherborne asked Vardy if she had thrown Watt under the bus by suggesting the agent may have leaked the stories. He said, "It's not her that betrayed you as you suggest, it's you that has betrayed her by throwing her under the bus." Vardy replied, "That's a joke," and began to cry as Mr. Sherborne confirmed he had finished his questioning. Vardy says she doesn't recall one of Rooney's fake Instagram posts about a flood in her home's basement. Vardy began to cry and needed a break after being grilled over whether she had changed her story about seeing a post on Rooney's Instagram page about a flood in her home's basement. The story was one of the fake posts Rooney said she put up to find out who was leaking her private information. Vardy initially said, "I can't recall seeing this one. I recall seeing one similar with the blueprints of the house." I didn't understand why they would put blueprints of their property up for security reasons. Mr. Sherborne said, "Your solicitors admitted, because you told them, that you had seen the flooded basement post. But a moment ago you told us now, some 2.5 years after the event, that you don't recall seeing the flooded basement post." Beginning to cry, Vardy said, "There was a lot of abuse during that time." Her position now is that she does not recall the post, the court heard. The trial continues.